All right, you guys, I want to show you exactly how powerful this second brain, this persistent memory system that I've set up for my Claude Code is. So let me just type in some things here. Let's get to work. What was I working on last Tuesday? Delivered to me as a simple, clearly visible, interactive document on my desktop in list format with a section for the top 10 of my current open tasks with checkboxes, client names anonymized, please, I am recording. So we're going to let this run, and it's going to present me with a document that details exact memory from that date, last Tuesday, which is August 4th. So let's see what it comes back with. And while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at the actual brain. And what you're seeing here, this is in Obsidian, which is a program that you can connect to your Claude Code instance, and each one of these nodes is a node of information. And if we zoom in a little bit further here, you can see these lines that are in between these nodes of information, those are connectors. And so as this has been indexed, this entire brain has been indexed to not only pull up past chats and conversations, but it pulls up the exact processes that I went through as I was building something out. Because there's some pretty amazing things that this second brain will do that Claude Web or Claude Desktop's client will not do. And before you click away, because you're going to say, well, Christian, Anthropic already rolled out a persistent memory system, which is true. They did install some type of memory recall with their web and desktop clients, but there are some pretty specific things that it actually doesn't do compared to what we're doing here. Claude's own memory system writes its own entries from your chats as you chat. Great, we definitely want that. And we also want it to search your past conversations when you ask it to, so that you don't have to spend a significant amount of time reprompting for a job that you're working on. It currently holds your role, your preferences, and your ongoing work. Excellent. That's exactly what we want as well. And it gives each project its own separate memory. Now, this is where Anthropic kind of missed the mark. In Claude's desktop and web versions, the memory is only held within chat and within each project on its own. And what that means is if you're working inside of one project, it's not going to have context from your other projects. This is where the second brain really comes in, and it's because it records not only what happened and what was said, but it records the entire process that you went through so that it gets smarter each time. It learns each time that you initiate a new project. And these are kept as plain markdown files on your own computer so that you can back them up if you want to, and you can alter those files. Whereas in Claude servers, you're relying on Anthropic to be storing your information. Like I just mentioned, it ties every single project, decision, and lesson to the others. That's what I mean when I say all of this information is interconnected. You can have a variety of different concepts here that are related to other areas of the brain, just like a human brain, I might add. Okay, this document has finished being produced. Let's take a look and see what it produced for me based on that prompt. It shows me all of the tasks and jobs that I was actually working on with details, and it even logs the things that it missed. I proposed Windows toast and told you to look bottom right. They silently fail in this box, and that was already recorded back in July. So it remembers things contextually, it remembers things based on date, and it remembers anything that I tell it to remember, indexes it into a specific category so that it can be pulled up contextually when I'm working on similar jobs. Cool. It also gave me the little interactive checklist that I wanted. And this is one of the coolest things about this. It just dropped this right on my desktop, and I went ahead and opened it up. And this is exactly what I asked for. So there are three things that this persistent memory system does that I think are a superpower when it comes to workflows and setting up operations for yourself or for your clients. The very first one that I always recommend people have set up is this learnings folder. These are essentially lessons. So anytime that I'm working on a project and I tell Claude to do something and it produces a mistake or a poor outcome, or it does something that I didn't want it to or didn't anticipate it to, all I have to do is go into my terminal, tell it to correct that mistake and record this lesson to our learnings folder. And then it's going to automatically link this into its operating system so that it doesn't make the same mistake again. I mean, how many times have you been prompting something in Claude and you're spending a lot of time re-prompting the same thing to get a similar outcome? This learnings folder takes away the need to re-prompt and correct it so that your work compounds, which is the second thing that I think makes this so powerful. What do I mean by compounds? Say you are building out a dashboard, or you're doing a complex task like creating an automation that has 10 different steps. Well, the first time that you're going through that process of setting up that automation, it's going to take both you and Claude a lot more time. It's going to take a significant amount of time to get all of the steps in order, to connect different data sources, to actually test run and go through the automation that you've built. All of that, if you have this persistent memory system set up, it's going to remember the entire process from the very start to the very finish, and you're probably going to be inputting some learnings and lessons along the way, so that the next time that you're building something similar, it's going to take you a fraction of the time it took you to build it the very first time, because Claude remembers the process that you went through and how to connect all those data sources, how to run the automations, how to test and do dry runs to make sure that your automation is working properly. And on the flip side, I'm going to be much faster because I've already gone through this process once before, and I've got this amazing digital brain that remembers all of the steps for me so that I don't have to. The third thing about a persistent memory system that I think is just essential to have for your system is this daily log. This daily log opens up at the start of each instance, and it records detailed summaries and, at times, exact transcripts of the things that we are talking about, so that we keep a running log of what happened on that day. And that's what allowed me to create this document, at which I prompted at the very start of the session. Claude remembers what you do every single day, every step of the way, and every workflow that you've ever worked on is recorded here in this persistent memory brain. Once it was built, it gave me this nice little summary of what it did, and I have the document. You can even ask it to delete the file if you want. And aside from having the ability to set up a second digital brain for yourself, the power of Claude Code with this memory system running directly on your machine means that you have 100% autonomy as to what it can create, delete, modify, and adjust on your PC. You can have a number of files on your PC and tell your Claude Code to drop specific files in specific locations so that it keeps your files neat and tidy. And I just want to say, when I first started doing this, I was blown away, and I was a little afraid actually at the power that this has. I mean, I've fed this thing so much context about myself, about my strengths, about my weaknesses, my goals, my ambitions, my desires. I mean, so much stuff it knows and remembers about me, because I wanted it to know those things about me. I'm using this as an assistant. I'm not using this as just a standard LLM chatbot that can help me do deep research and create images. This is an assistant. This thing has its own context that it loads every single session so that it knows what I'm working on, what I want to be moving towards, and then it helps me become more efficient every single job that I run. But it does not read your mind. This doesn't actually make Claude smarter, although it certainly feels like it does at times. But what it does is it prevents you from starting at complete zero every single time. And because of these added features, the lessons and learnings file, the compounding effect, and the daily log, it blows the native chat-based memory system that one would use in desktop or in their web client completely out of the water. So you're probably wondering how to set this persistent memory system up for yourself. And I tell you, this has gone on for probably 5 or 6 iterations, and I continue to improve upon this. And I keep this as a live deliverable that I'm going to give to you guys. Go ahead and click the link in the description. It's going to take you to a page that gives you the master prompt to set this up for yourself. I have tested it and retested it and made it as simple and easy as possible for you guys to get this going for yourself. So go ahead and just follow that link to help you get this set up on your own Claude Code system. So just one thing to note here, this isn't going to work with Claude Desktop or Claude Cowork. You must be working inside of a terminal and have Claude Code downloaded on your machine so that you can connect this brain to all of your workflows. And if you don't want to use Obsidian, the prompt that I've engineered here for you is going to work just as well without it. But I would highly encourage you to get this set up for yourself in Obsidian because, for one, it's super cool and really fun, and it will show you holes in your own memory system. So I've made that prompt as easy as possible for you to get this set up on your own PC. But if you'd like a little bit more help or some one-on-one guidance, go ahead and check out the description. Shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to chat with you. Also, if you'd like any more videos about even how to set up Claude Code on your computer or anything else, just leave me a comment and I'm happy to record some more walkthrough videos. And with that, I will see you on the other side. Peace.